What's up guys? Matt here again with ubj.com, and this time around, here in this video, let's do a quick little talk about dermal anchors, or microdermals, or just anchors, alright? So they have several different nicknames. I prefer to call them dermal anchors. That's the one that kind of, I don't know, I think is the original name. So, basic anchor info. For the most part, anchors are pretty awesome. They've kind of replaced surface bars just because they tend to heal really well. A lot of surface bars, you know, they do a lot of rejection. They just don't tend to move with the skin as well. And yeah, they're just not desirable anymore. We don't really even do them at all at our shop. The only place I can really say that I do surface bars is on nape piercings, but once again, we just don't really use surface bars anymore. So dermal anchors are the new thing, all right? So with a dermal anchor, they're for the most part always going to be 14 gauge, okay? So 14 gauge is like the universal size for a dermal anchor. Now, when I say 14 gauge, what that means is the thread pattern for the most part. That's usually what's going to pertain to most people getting this piercing. It's important to know that because in the future, if you ever want to buy different tops or gems or anything of that nature, make sure you buy 14 gauge, okay? And on that same subject, really important, when you're buying anchor tops, you want them to always be as flat as possible, okay? So don't buy anything too big or with balls on it. It tends to be too top heavy and can cause the anchors to actually kind of reject out, okay? So nice and flat as possible is really good. And just know, whatever top you get pierced with, you know, you're not stuck with that forever, okay? So any qualified professional body piercer should easily be able to change those tops for you, all right? Now, don't change them too soon though, okay? So you're probably looking around 2 to 3 months. So 2 to 3 months, like your basic healing time for a dermal anchor. Around 2 months or so, if you wanted to change the top, you probably could, no problem, okay? Just go in and have somebody do it for you, a professional piercer. It's a tricky one. You can't really do it yourself. It does require a special tool to make that happen. And any shop should really be happy to do that for you, okay? Now, 2 to 3 months to heal an anchor. You know, for 2 to 3 months, just like any other piercing, you kind of want to build a force field around it. Don't touch it, don't play with it. Don't spin and rotate the jewelry. You know, with the dermal anchor, they have, you know, the anchor basically has a little T backing and with little holes in it, okay? That's what sits underneath the skin. Now, what you want is you want that skin to grow into those holes and really lock onto the jewelry, and that's what's going to kind of hold it in place and keep it nice and secure. During the healing process, if you're constantly spinning and rotating it, what's going to happen is you're going to form more of a pocket in there. And then one day you're going to barely bump it and it's going to pop right out. Just so you know, if it ever does pop out, you know, after getting it pierced, go see your piercer and they should always be able to pop it back in for you, okay? Depending on the situation, the scenario, you know, they might have to take it out, re-pierce it and pop it back in, or you might have to actually just take it out, let it heal for a week or two, come back in and then they can put it back in the same spot, okay? So no, that is an option. So, going back, how do you take care of it, okay? So taking care of your dermal anchor, once again, just like with all their piercings, never put hydrogen peroxide on it or alcohol or neosporin or Bactine or any of that stuff. So hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, Bactine, it's all way too harsh and it just does a lot more damage than good, and it'll go in there and actually dissolve away that healthy tissue you're trying to heal and trying to get to grow and lock onto that anchor, okay? It'll dissolve it away. Products like neosporin, if you read on the tube of neosporin, it says not for puncture wounds, and what that does is when you put it on there, this is definitely a puncture wound, when you put it on there, it clogs it all up, okay? It doesn't allow it to properly drain or discharge, which a piercing, any piercing, needs to be able to do during the healing process. There's dirt, bacteria gets in there, your body will naturally pull that out or push it out, okay, in the form of like pus and draining, discharge, funky stuff like that. So avoid those products. Saltwater soaks, okay? So saltwater soaking is the only thing you want to do for this piercing, so take care of it. Saltwater soaking, super simple, super easy. Go to the grocery store, get a gallon of distilled water. You know, you've all seen it, I'm sure. It's in the drinking water section. Any grocery store has it. From there, go to the salt section, get some non-iodized or all natural sea salts, okay? Just make sure it's the pure sea salt, really important. When you get home, it's 4 teaspoons to the 1 gallon of water. So 4 to 1, all right? 4 teaspoons to that gallon, shake it up. That gives you a big jug to keep around the house. Once or twice a day, take maybe like a coffee cup or a shot glass, fill it up with a saltwater solution. Make sure it's always glass, never paper or plastic. Fill it up with the saltwater solution, microwave for a few seconds. Everybody's microwave is different, so just a few seconds. You want it to be about body temperature, lukewarm. And let's say we have a dermal anchor right here on our chest. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lean forward, push that cup up against your chest, If you push really hard, you kind of get like a suction going, and you're just gonna stand up, and you're gonna let that soak for a few minutes. When I say a few minutes, I mean 7 to 15 minutes exactly. So give it a roughly about 7 to 15 minutes, and just let it soak, nothing else, all right? Now, cool thing about dermal anchors is you can put them all over the place. So with the dermal anchors, let's just say you got it pierced right here on your cheekbone. You're trying to soak it in there, your cheekbone's not really thin, you can't really get it under the water, you can't submerge it. Do a compress, okay? Compresses are the second best way to take care of it. Really easy. Take that coffee cup or shot glass, fill it up with salt water, microwave for a few seconds so it's like body temperature. Take it out, take maybe like a paper towel or a clean washcloth, dunk it in that saltwater solution and drape it on there and let it soak for a few minutes. Well, 7 to 15 minutes. Same thing, let's say you got it on the back of the neck. Same thing, take that paper towel or clean washcloth, dunk it in there, just drape it over the back of your neck and let it soak for 7 to 15 minutes. Super easy, super simple. Never ever use Q-tips or cotton balls or any of that stuff. What that does, it leaves behind a lot of fibers, you know, that can build up a lot of dirt and bacteria. It can also cause the anchors to lift and resulting in rejection and other issues and problems. I couldn't tell you how many times people come into the shop with their anchors sticking out and we got to remove the anchors. I pull the anchor out, I look at it, and there's a million little fibers, like Q-tip fibers, wrapped around the jewelry. And that was probably the cause of the rejection, all right? Now, just so you guys know, I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, I don't want to get dermal anchors because I don't want to ever have to get them cut out. Well, the whole cutting out, you should never have to get your dermal anchors cut out. If you go to a professional piercer who knows what they're doing, we have special tools to remove these anchors. And it's a really simple process. It's actually almost just as simple, if not simpler, than getting them put in, okay? So I have special tools, you come in, we'll just hold onto the anchor and we'll pop it out for you, no problem. So just know if you ever want it out, go see your professional piercer and they'll take it out for you, no problem. Really simple, really easy, okay guys? One thing with anchors is I think there's a misconception on how to get it actually done, like the actual procedure. When I pierce a dermal anchor, I really like to use needles, just regular piercing needles. I hear a lot of people say that they've seen YouTube videos or whatever of people using dermal punches. For me, dermal punches is kind of an outdated method. When dermal anchors kind of first came onto the scene, this was a while ago, over 10 years ago, people were using punches. We didn't really know how to properly put these in and get the best results for healing, okay? So even myself included, I've done a few anchors with punches and it's just not necessary. So these days, you know, especially with my colleagues, other professional piercers, for the most part, we're all using piercing needles to put in a dermal anchor. I found that when you use a dermal punch, you're actually removing a big core of skin or tissue, and that actually results in a lot more scarring and a lot more healing too, okay? So just know when you go in there that you're probably looking to get it done with a piercing needle, and you know, and this is something that most professional piercers are already gonna know and have under control. But just so you guys know, like the dermal punches, I don't recommend it all. Yeah, I think that's about it. So that's pretty much so anchor info, some basic anchor 101 right there. So hopefully that helps with any questions you might have. And yeah guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video.